shoe bomber, they called him.
Yeah.
And he was trying to light a shoe on fire. You know, his behavior was erratic, and he smelled bad, he was sweating.
Right.
And he was really nervous, and of course, he didn't succeed in doing what he was trying to do. And then this guy, you said, almost seemed soulless, or he was staring off?
Yeah, he was, you know, my theory on that is that he was under some sort of sedative or drug or something like that, because his behavior wasn't anything out of the usual. He just kind of set it on fire, and then even when the flames were licking at his feet and stuff, and he was on fire pretty bad,
right.
And he wasn't screaming, he wasn't yelling, he wasn't even really freaking out.
He wasn't crying out in pain.
No, nothing like that.
He didn't seem happy or joyful that
no,
what he had done.
There was no emotion whatsoever. None at all. Even when the guy tackled him and had him in the chokehold, he wasn't even struggling.
He didn't attempt to resist at all. Okay. Did you see a man videotaping all that at all?
I didn't see that man.
Okay.
It wasn't until we had landed that some people I was talking with there were pointing out, yeah, he was videotaping the whole thing, but he was sitting too far. He was like directly behind me, so I wasn't able to see that.
So he was behind you, yet he was in front of the underwear bomber or Umar. Is that correct?
Well, he was in the same
row.
Yeah, he was about in the same row lengthwise of the airplane. So when I was looking back, you know, I couldn't really see anything else going on.
Did your friend say that he was taping the whole flight, or he just began taping during the incident? Or
the guy I was chatting with, because when the FBI asked for the man who was videotaping to identify himself, the person I was with when we were being held just kind of pointed out to me, and he said, yeah, he was the one videotaping it. And then I've heard on the news later other reports that he was videotaping the whole flight, but I didn't actually see him doing that.
And did you happen to see the well-dressed man who helped him board? Have you heard that allegation?
Yeah, I've heard that. I did not see that. I'm actually I boarded. I got into the actual gate. What it is in Schiphol, you go through security, and then you go sit and wait by the terminal. So I had already gone through that, and he came in after me.
Okay, so you didn't see this alleged man who helped him board. I guess you read the story that he was a refugee from Sudan, and he didn't need a passport to board, and that's how he got on board.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's kind of disturbing in itself. So how long, when this happened and you landed, how long were you like kind of held aside and were you held in the plane for a while? Describe that to me.
Yeah, when we first landed, they brought Mutallab off first, and the local security came and took him off, and then the Dutchman who had sustained injuries doing him was taken off, and then we sat on the plane for the best I can judge, about 20 minutes to a half hour before we were moved inside the terminal to another place where we were held there for a while.
And were you researched, or did they go through your bags, or tell me about that?
Well, how they did that is after we had been held in the terminal for about an hour, the FBI arrived with bomb sniffing dogs, and how they did that, it was actually, that scene was almost as scary as what happened on the airplane, because all these kids were screaming. They were scared of the dogs. There's just dogs walking around, and they brought them around to everyone's bags, and they sniffed a couple of the bags, and the ones that they kind of indicated maybe there's something in here, they searched those. So there wasn't an individual search of all the carry-on. It wasn't until the one guy, the dog, sat down in front of his bag and indicated pretty strongly that anything else really happened.
And that gentleman was taken away from the crowd at that point? How did that play out?
What first happened when the dog sat down in front of his bags was he was taken aside with some other people, and his bags were searched.
In front of you guys?
It was in the same area, but it was often like I happened to be standing right there, so it was in the same area, but it was